countdown is over and it's time for another edition of the Morning Post. Happy Saturday, Racing World. Dave Orton with you for the next hour or so. Your one-stop shop live bulletin show brought to you by the Racing Post and sponsored by William Hill. That magical time of year. Something for everyone on today's show. Who's on the panel? Let's whittle down them. Well, quite literally two punting legends join me in the studio today. Paul Kealy. Mischievous Paul Kealy.
Mischievous, why?
Well, you threw a grenade last Saturday, didn't you, saying about the Cheltenham Festival? We already got that out, all the trainers dodging it already, and now you're punting out a festival in December.
No, it was just funny. I got loads of responses, and one said, "Yeah, the Cheltenham Festival should be in December. Get it out of the way, and then they'll all run, and they'll all run again." And obviously, it's never going to happen. But I just said, imagine if it did.
Mischievous Kealy.
Imagine if you had a festival in December, a festival in January, a festival at the end of February, and another one in April. That's it. 4 festivals, all great races, no other grade ones anywhere. Then you get 4 times a year, a bit like the Grand Slams in golf and tennis and all that. Bit of fun.
Where can people actually read that? Is it a weekender?
It's online. It's online. It goes out to the Racing Post members.
Yeah, all right, OK, so you need to sign up, basically. I'm thrilled to say, making his Morning Post debut, Bryce-wise Tom Segal's with us.
Yeah, it's normally you say punting legends. It's nearly always punting heavyweights when we're in cold, but there we go.
Well, you're in good company there today, Tom. How's the radar at the minute?
It's all right. All right. I had a week off last week, so didn't really have a look at too many racing, and the Breeders' Cup's not really my thing, so looking forward to the racing today. Should be good.
You were nice and polite about that, weren't you? We will be talking all things Breeders' Cup a little bit later on. If you're new to the show, I'll tell you what's coming up shortly, but thrilled to be sponsored by William Hill, and we do have the trading floor open to you out there. We're literally going to see the markets changing at William Hill in front of your eyes. And Johnny Simpson, who joined us in the studio last week, he's somewhere in his man cave. Johnny, trader, welcome along.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Dave. Delighted to be here. It's a fantastic Saturday's racing. Can't wait to get stuck in.
There you go, some youthful enthusiasm.
Delighted to be here, Johnny.
That's what we needed. Johnny's literally the guy that literally, has his morning breakfast and puts the prices up in front of your eyes, and he's priced everything up for you. We're going to have a look at plenty for you. Let's have a look at exactly what that does entail for you. OK, all right, so we will be doing a paper roundup for you. Oh, look at this. Look, can you see it? This was yesterday. This was the headline. Big Evs. What a story that was overnight. Johnny, let's come to you quickly. Oh, he had your pants down, didn't he?
He did. What a start for punters. Big Evs doing the business for Mick Appleby. That was as bad a start as it could get for William Hill. Tom Marquand gave him a great ride, won it 3-1. Give punters plenty to play with.
Red car form at Santa Anita in a 1-2-3. Of course, 2 wins last night for the Europeans. We'll get to that. We'll be going to William Hill ambassador Sam Twiston-Davies as he makes his merry way to Ascot, which, of course, thank goodness it's all on. We'll be doing live to the tracks before an Ascot preview, Wetherby preview as well. Charlie Hall Chase Day, isn't it? One of those marvellous things. David Jennings will be joining us again on the line for the Irish angle. We'll be looking at the Sunday Sizzlers. There's a Cork Grand National. Great card up at Carlisle, all being well. Then we'll be doing an anti-post look. Go to the William Hill website. It's called Future Races. You want to look at the Betfair Chase. That's coming up at the end of this month. We'll get the boys' thoughts on that and any post that they might like at this position, and those all-important weekend naps. Right, OK, paper roundup. Let's have a look at what you can get in your Racing Post this morning. Marvellous. Let's have a look at the front page, shall we? All about the Breeders' Cup at the minute, lads, isn't it? But the beautiful game is back. Thank goodness Wetherby is on. Broadband David Carr joins me on the line shortly from Wetherby. We'll get his take on exactly what they've done to get the card on. And just down there below, look, what is it, 9 championship races tonight if you fancy it? What a day of racing you've got. All available to you. Chris Cook sets the scene over there at Santa Anita. Dream Horse gets chance to elevate the West on the global stage. Of course, he's referencing Live in the Dream, our Nunthorpe winner, who gets to go out and try and take out the juvenile turf sprint. That's after the classic. Ahoy, says Keith Melrose, the betting editor. Great preview from Keith there. Let's see what the boys think about this a little bit later on, setting the scene. Johnny Deneen on Saturday. He's with Keith. He thinks Ahoy, Signor will beat off his old rival Brave Man's Game. Not sure Johnny's going to tell us the market sees it that way. Go to the paper for Johnny's nap now. Monday night into Tuesday, unbelievable scenes. 2 go for Willie Mullins. Vauban plan has been 622 days in the making, and it's about to come to fruition. We'll be getting DJ's word on that. Johnny, just quickly with you before we go to the app. Johnny, tell us about Vauban. What price is he at the moment? And it's going to be a serious liability, this, isn't it?
Yeah, Dave, this is a disaster. He was 25 to 1 nearly 12 months ago when we added him in the market. He's now 2 to 1. He's drawn well in stall 3. And we'll be waking up on Tuesday morning, hopefully, to find we can get a result. All
right, OK. I'm going to come to Tom in a second about that. I cannot understand this. And again, all right, big breaking news overnight. If you want to see what's happening, now this is all about the scratchings, of course. Owner dismayed as leading European hopes scratch for the Breeders' Cup. Now, this started on Tuesday after the draw was done. Monday night into Tuesday. Arcangelo, the favourite in the Classic, was scratched. The vets have been doing their work over there. It then started with Algiers in the Dirt Mile. Simon Crisford's crack miler was scratched. And they've been like dominoes ever since. Ribotaiba yesterday, of course, was the big news story. Out of the turf. He still won it with unquestionable. But that story is developing. Lots going on. The inquest is about to happen. You'll get all of that at the Racing Post. Melbourne Cup, you'll be doing a piece for it, I imagine.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I like the Melbourne Cup. Nice 20-runner handicap. I don't know why Keels doesn't like it.
It's on the other side of the world.
But it's a big field 20-runner handicap, Keels. You love that.
Yeah, I might have a look. Sometimes I get up for it. Well, sometimes I'm still awake for it, to be fair.
Richie's gone down.
Getting in for it.
Has Joe gone down as well with the Joe Chambers?
Yes, I believe he has.
I
believe he was there at the draw the other day, so yeah.
Yeah, all right, OK, all right. It would be just if they did it after Thomas Hobson et al. Right, OK. We are underway. Now, at the top of every show, Johnny Simpson is going to give you an unbelievable offer, and we're doing some price boosts for you. Johnny, what are the big fish today?
Well, we've not just got one, we've got 2, Dave. We've got Brave Man's Game, the feature race, the Charlie Hall Chase. It's the first sort of major jumps race of the season. I know there's only 4 runners, but for £100, we'll be going even money at Brave Man's Game. Now, if the jumps race isn't for you and you like the Breeders' Cup, we've got something for you too. In Spiral, in the 10 past 7 in the Breeders' Cup, Filly and Mare Turf. We win 9 to 4. We're taking on a 9 to 4, but we're not going to be 9 to 4. We're going to go 3 to 1 for £50. For the duration of the show, those 2 will be on the site under specials, Morning Post specials.
Love it. OK, even money, Brave Man's Game there. Now, we'll do a preview with all the big Wetherby races. We're going to look at Ascot for you on Saturday as well, but that's the headline then. Even money, Brave Man Game, odds on all around the country, of course. You can have that for the duration of the show. And tonight, of course, Inspiral versus Warm Heart, as they're bidding it, Frankie. She's going to come back next year. They're saying Inspiral on it. A whopping price for you out there as well. All right, OK, don't forget this is an interactive show. If you're watching on YouTube, say hello by liking, subscribing, comment and sharing, of course. Get it out there. Hashtag on Twitter. Get it going. The Morning Post. You can do that. Get your comments in below. We'll try and get some out during the show from you. And any questions to the lads about their tips and what they think of the market moves. Of course, the markets are set overnight. That's the beauty of the Morning Post. We can now see. We know what the ground's doing. We're going to get a word from the track about what the rain's doing out there as well. 50% off your members club. All right. We're going to shortly, I believe, get a members club and a William Hill ambassador on the line. So basically, it's Twiston-Davies this week. We had Lucinda Russell last week. She nearly went through the card at Kelso. Corrit Rambler came back, didn't he? We've seen all that. Now it's Sam Twiston-Davies coming on for us. We're going to... Lovely chap to talk to, but he angered you in the week, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, little, what's it? Yeah. I backed a David Dennis trained horse called Leebor Lad at Stratford at 14 to 1. Went off like 15 to 2, something like that. Swung round the bend, absolutely cantering. And then along comes this 50 to 1 outsider, stablemate, ridden by STD, to chin him.
Also trained by David Dennis.
Also trained by
Never won a race
Dennis
before. Yeah, all right, brilliant. And Tom, you had a couple of tracker horses, didn't you? You do tracker basically for you, don't you? Is that after Saturday racing people can get that?
Yeah, Sunday evenings or maybe Saturday.
Yeah, all right, okay. So, and both were
Twiston-Davies horses. Yeah, Master Chewy and Hidalgo Bihu, or whatever it was called at Cheltenham. I thought they were both really impressive.
Well pronounced.
I know, you did well there, didn't you?
It's early in the morning, Tom, absolutely. All right, well, look, this is it's a beautiful link. I think after that, Sam will be coming back on, maybe, as he makes his way to Ascot. I think we can join Sam live on the line now. STD, morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, brilliant, Sam. I think we're just lucky to have it on. 2 rides at Ascot today then. But let's talk about the season as a whole so far, 54 winners up, as Kills was saying. You basically nutted him at Stratford, and we've seen some really nice horses as well.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock one, that, but you take them all. Obviously, Dave Dennis kind of knows exactly what he's at. I think the other one was the more fancied one, but he did say he wasn't without a chance.
Look at Sam. Look, he's got the tie on and everything. You know he's going to Ascot, not Hereford today, don't you? Sam, one of the best.
Your best being a ginger lad.
No one will notice, mate. I think it's complimenting, actually. A couple of decent horses. Tom mentioned a couple of tracker horses that he put up for everyone. Adalka Bahu, then. I mean, it's been a great start to the season, isn't it? Kills was talking about that in the paper as well this week. Your dad's basically had his best autumn for 20 years. Old farts like me and the boys will remember 20 years ago, your dad used to win all the races at Perth and then, mop up at the Cheltenham October meeting. It does feel like old times.
Yeah, obviously we wanted to get out good and early. We've been lucky with the rain, especially up at Perth. It's lovely ground for a lot of those horses making their seasonal starts. And then obviously some of those other ones, Master Chewy, Adalco, have been fantastic. Master Chewy could possibly go back up to Aintree. The kind of thing in the handicap, it looks like he kind of thought he'd get in upwards about £10. So looked not an obvious race. He'd still be in a 0 to 130. So it looked a nice target for him going forward, and then Adalco is open to a few more options as well.
Great for the Shepherds as well, Sam's. I like to move it. That was absolutely tragic, wasn't it? Emotional scenes at Cheltenham at the October meeting. Adalco Bahu in particular is one that I think's got everyone's imagination.
Yeah, that's it. It's always harder. Obviously, Jamie and Anne-Marie, new owners to us, and I Like to Move It was their first horse. So then when that kind of goes and happens, it's very hard to pick yourself up and then re-find the faith in it all. But with obviously horses like Master Chewy and Adalco, they're really obviously, the heads are starting to rise and remembering why we all love the game and why it is so special.
Yeah, I can see the emotions you went past the post. Wish you well with them going forward. Shall we talk about today's two runners you've got then? You ride Twin Jets in the Novice Chase at 1:30 for Milton Harris. A winning pointer. He won't mind the rain, will he?
No, it doesn't look to. A lot of form on a slower surface. His win with Bradley Harris at Kempton was obviously looked slow ground that day and dealt with it well. So I'll have a quick chat to Harry Cobden, kind of see what his thoughts are on him. He's been schooling him in the week, so have a quick chat through. Obviously, the race looks a lovely starting point for him. Beautiful fences round Ascot, so hopefully at a nice price, he's not had a good chance.
Yeah, OK, he's run about 15 to 2 hills at the minute. And then you stick around for the bumper. It looks a hot bumper, actually, Sam. You ride a well-bred chap for your mate, Sam Thomas.
Yeah, obviously, love riding for Sammy and Di. Know the horses very well. He looks to have a beautiful pedigree. Obviously, got some point-to-pointers in there. Horses, Virgil and Chris Giles's. Looks a nice type, as do lots of the others on paper. But as anything as we saw in the Chepstow bumper midweek, you can bump into an expensive horse and give them a little bit to think about. So I think it's with Sammy's, they're very, very well ridden, and obviously his staff and himself at home. So hopefully going there with a nice chance. Yeah,
him and Di have had a cracking start to the season, haven't they? Everything they runs either runs to expectation or wins at the minute. So wish you well on that. He's a half brother to Tom's horse, St. Segal. So who runs actually earlier on the car. It's basically named after Tom, that horse, for James Williams. We'll be getting to that. So Sam started well, you've started well, 54 winners on the board. We hope you extend that. Solid chance for a double today. What about the Jockeys Championship, Sam, this season? Is that something that you might have at the back of your mind?
It's quite funny because you'd always say, the biggest truth of it all is every day since the day I started riding, you've only ever ridden as many winners as you can, and I'd ride everything I could ride anyway. So just being in the position to be competitive is great, but in all truth, you would never really be doing anything different because I'd ride everything I physically could anyway if it had a chance. And I think it's very much a case we've been lucky this year at the start. We've had to be in a relatively close proximity, but Sean Bowen looks like he's going to take all the catching. But as ever, it's more going out there, enjoying it, having some fun, trying to find some quality, but obviously quantity at the same time is something I've never always really enjoyed.
Well, look, Sam, all ahead of you there. You've become an old pro at this, haven't you? I'm just thinking that as you're talking, which is remarkable for me to think of. We've done this quite a few times. It's great to have you joining us on these morning posts, Sam, going forward throughout the winter. It's going to be loads of fun. Now, who's driving the car? Is it Dad by any chance?
There's Dad here, and then you got Willie in the back. quite the Twiston-Davies theme.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Oh, Warwick Twiston-Davies.
Yeah.
Look at him in the back, absolutely. And look, we can't let you go without a word about Beauport. Both the chaps next to me have tipped him in the paper. His price-wise selection and kills as well. He's been hammered in the betting. Everything looks in place for a big run today. Yeah,
touch wood, all being well. Of ours, he's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of jumping. His form there to read fresh last season is for all to see. So it is very much a case of fingers crossed. The biggest thing with him, and it sounds a funny thing to say, with it being a 3-mile chase, but I think the first 4 fences will be key with him because they're quite tricky. Obviously, you start at the top of the hill at Ascot and jump down into Swindley Bottom. So if he can get into a nice rhythm, jump those four nicely and end up in a nice slot, then hopefully it'd be a lovely race for him. And then obviously that will probably lead on to the Coral Cup. Oh, the Coral Cup. What's it called? That is the old Hennessy, but the Coral, I think it's called.
You'll get away with that.
Coral
Don't worry
Cup's
about
a
it, mate.
2.5 mile hurdle race.
He's going to say he's not going to win that one.
Leave it to your agent, Sammy. Leave it to your agent. All right. Well, great to see you and Dad and Willie as well in the car. Safe journey. Good luck this afternoon. William and Ambassador Sam Twiston-Davies. Top work as ever.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, lads, and good luck with everything.
Brilliant. What a star he is.
Yeah. Ex-William Hill ambassador, given that he mentioned a rival about 8 times there.
I think you could still hear that as well. He's great fun. So it has been a great start.
He's a top man, yeah. He's a top man. I just had a look. If you had a quid on every one of his rides this season, he'd be 115 quid up.
Yeah. Especially if he'd back that 50 to 1 that beat yours.
Back that 50 to 1 shot, yeah. That beat me, yeah, lovely.
All right, great stuff. Okay, that's that done with. We'll be looking to our previews very shortly and going live to the tracks. You've heard everything so far. If you're new to the Racing Post, you want to get involved, do the study with your app or your laptop while you're watching this show. Breeders' Cup tonight. Why not become a member? Okay, for the first time this morning, thrilled that we can go to Berkshire. It is Ascot, live to the tracks with top course reporter Lewis Porteous. Lewis, welcome to the Morning Post.
Yeah, morning, Dave. How are you?
First thing to ask you, Lewis, oh my Lord. I mean, I'm not too far away from Ascot as the crow flies as I was driving in this morning. It was biblical weather. What can punters expect in the first?
Well, Chris Stickles is currently calling the course soft, good to soft in places. But he has warned the going is going to be reassessed at midday when this band of rain is due to pass through. About 48 millimetres of rain over the last 7 days, and they could get anything from 7 to 12 millimetres before racing starts.
Currently soft then. Do you think we'll go heavy? I mean, Ascot's a funny place, isn't it?
Yeah, it could down the back straight, as you know, going into Swindley Bottom and coming out. Water can gather there, so we could be looking at heavy in places, but track does tend to take the rain well, and it's just to reiterate, soft, good to soft at the moment, and then it just depends how much rain they get before racing.
Yeah, you know, Ascot better than the rest of us, Lewis, really. Obviously, the Sodexo Live Gold Cup is the feature. Monbeg Genius it is on the lips of everyone after Tom Segal put him up in his price-wise a couple of weeks ago in the big jump-off. A lot of people expecting he might not win this. He's been on the drift. They don't want to pick up a penalty for that. Obviously, your reports will be, I guess, you know, driven by what the winners are. What do you fancy? Who's Lewis Porteous going to be sticking next to by the one post?
I mean, I'd like to see Monbeg win. It would be a good horse to write about, having been third in the Ultima. And that form looks rock solid. I know the O'Neills are plotting to either towards the Coral Gold Cup or the Beecher Chase. So a good run here will set him up for one of those. But I quite like the look of 2 classy horses in the 2 mile chase earlier on the card at 2:05. First Flow and Fun and Bowl Civilla. First Flow, obviously, a previous Clarence House Chase winner here at the track. Funambule Silver, a dual Game Spirit winner. They've got to give weight away to the rivals, but it's 2 smart horses. There's been a lot of tips for First Flow. I quite like Funambule Silver off a wind operation as well in November.
Again, and Venetia's had a winner in the last week or so, hasn't she? Talk about trainers that are testing their battalion then, the fitness-wise. A lot of people will be looking out for Nicky Henderson's runners on the card, not just up at Wetherby, of course, who's got Lucia, but Immortal in the first has been one of the plunges of the last 48 hours. Has Nicky Henderson ever had a handicap runner off 110 at Ascot before?
I can't recall it, Dave. This horse has been on a lot of people's lips. It's had a wind operation. Freddie Gordon takes another 6 off. And it could just absolutely be thrown in here. Had 2 satters in novice hurdles last season and got quite a nice little profile. And no wonder punters have latched onto him.
You'll be hoping to get on the road before it lashes down and get the Breeders' Cup, knowing you, Lewis. But there's a decent bumper at 4:15 as well, with a lot of expensive horses.
Yeah, indeed. We've got some nice ones. Gary Moore's big spending owner. Ollie Harris is all authorised in there. That's an interesting contender. And there's a good word about Oak Grove, Virgil O'Brien's. That was a point winner, cost 250 grand. So I'll definitely be sticking around for that, Dave.
Master wordsmith then, Lewis Porteous, will be live on track for us. You can get his reports as they happen at Ascot. Lewis, go well.
Take care, Dave.
There we go then, guys. Great to have Lewis online. And look, it's going to be pretty much bottomless, lads, isn't it? I mean, it's teeming down.
I can't believe there's going to be any good in it, put it like that.
Yeah,
it'll be very
madness. I mean, it was, Champions Day was extremely, extremely testing. I can't see this being, it's just done nothing but rain since, is it?
Look, let's just tell it how it is. You get this here on the Morning Post.
Well, I hope so anyway, because that's how I bet.
Otherwise, you're in the hot sauce. All right, Johnny Simpson, let's bring you back in. We're looking at the 130. It's a novice handicap chase. Some really exciting horses here going forward. How do Hills price it up?
Yeah, competitive little race. Are you wise to that? That has been favourite since the prices went out, 7-2. Just a little bit of money into 130, but we're happy to stand that as favourite. We think this is a far more competitive race than the one he won at Warwick. The money has come for Hermino AA and Passing Well. Those 2 horses who are making a chasing debuts, potentially well handicapped, the sort of type who will improve for fences. But a wide open race, Dave.
Some of the feedback that we got from the show opening last week was people loved us talking about what price it opened up with at Hills and what it is today. We'll be doing that in some of the later races. This is one you swerved, isn't it?
Yeah, when the entries came through on Monday, we saw a few that were doubly entered. Thought we'll just sit this one out. And Hermino A has been a lot bigger than it is now, so we're glad we've ducked out of the way of that one.
All right, OK. Right, let's bring in someone from the floor before we go to the guys and see what they're going to win. OK, Trevor Clark comes on. This is better than the morning line. Dave Orton is always enthusiastic. Thank you, Trevor.
You don't see him behind scenes, Trevor. You don't see him behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Miserable git he is.
All right, lovely. Keep the comments coming in. Keep the comments coming in. This is where you can get into the brains now of Tom and Keels. I saw you put up Hermano AA.
Yeah, we don't need to say the AA. That just signifies it's
Is it just Hermano,
Anglo-Arab breeding or whatever, doesn't
well, Sonny
it?
Doc AA won this, didn't
exactly,
he? Just to confuse
Sonny
it.
Doc, yeah, so you don't need it should be in brackets really, and then everyone would ignore it, wouldn't it?
Rant out the way. He's going to win, right?
Well, I hope so. I don't know. Obviously, it was an educated guess. It was 20-1 on Monday with a few firms, and I just thought that was just an industry mistake because Gary Moore has a brilliant record in this race. He's won it twice in the last 6 years. He managed to get Editor de Geet beaten in the race off a mark of 120, but looked like he was winning for much of that race, didn't he, as well? Obviously, Gosham went off favourite last year, couldn't jump, but he tends to run a good horse in this race. And Hermino was very progressive last year. His last 3 runs, he won 2 of them, and in between he was second to Howling Mad Murdoch, only beating a length and a quarter, getting a pound. The winner went on to be 5th in the Sefton Novices Hurdle at Aintree. He's now rated 140. He comes here with 129. He's well handicapped. Can he jump? I don't know, but it was it was certainly worth taking a chance on it. Yeah, it doesn't matter at that sort of price. Would you back him now? I mean,
that was the question.
This is the thing, isn't it? If I'd looked at the race without knowing what the prices were ages ago, or there were no anti-post prices, and I saw it then, I'd still be tempted because I know Gary Moore targets the race. So, you know, it's coming to the point where, you know, would you really go in, you know, in a race where you don't know too much? Probably not, but he'd still be the one I'd be most interested in.
All right, Are You Wise to That looked quite good. He whacked the fourth last at Warwick from memory when he went on his chase debut. He's just a sort that John Joe excels with. But you're looking for a horse that went well fresh last season.
Yeah, I mean, Are You Wise to That, and whatever it's called, from Scott Denman in the family. I wondered if he might eventually go up in trip. But he's clearly looked good at Warwick. Keels has given you the case for Hermino. I thought Passing Well was going to run well. Jamie Snowden, I think he's had 3 from his last 5. His horses are running really well. He ran well in the Challow. He got sort of stuck around the outside in one of the, you know, it was that race which Hermes Allen won where they all ran around the inside, and he got stuck around the outside. He ran well, stayed on to be 4th. I think he's got plenty of improvement in him. But I mean, Johnny will tell us. Look at the prices there. I mean, you could make a case for all of them, bar Sire Psycho, and I don't think he's out of it either.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really hard race. Jipcot is a 4-year-old getting loads away. I think he or she was first home of the British in the Triumph. Jumped well at Carlisle on his or her debut. I can't remember now. His debut, and he could go well as well. So there's loads you can make a case for. And the one that's been backed in the last 24 hours is Sam Twiston-Davies' horse.
Twin Jets,
who will love the ground and was well backed to win
Sandown.
The Silver Trophy last time at Chepstow.
Oh, okay.
He didn't run very well,
all
but
right.
he was started. There was a few quid around for him that day, and so you know, there's plenty you can make a case for.
I remember him at Sandown last season. He ploughed through the mud. All right, so let's just get the tips out of the way. Hermano?
Yeah, well,
We're just calling him Hermano, by the way now.
Hermino.
All right, not even Hermano. Hermino, all
Well,
right.
it is an eye, mate.
I will get grumpy in a minute. Tom?
Passing well for me, but it's a really hard race.
All right, okay, they're the boy. I think Are You Wise to That's got right old chance. All right, shall we go to the 205? Some real old favourites here. This is going to get the juices flowing. 2 miles. Can I just be slightly controversial? This is my favourite jumping track, Ascot.
That's fair enough.
But a lot of people are just like, what,
Nothing
over Cheltenham?
controversial. I love going racing at Ascot over jumps.
It's absolutely brilliant. And
In
2
fact,
miles
I'd
over
be there
fences.
if I wasn't here.
There's still time, Kills. There's still time.
yeah.
I'm taking him to the
it
calf
takes too
after
long.
this, actually. 205 then. Who have you got as favourite then? Ascot Lover, Boot Hill, Johnny Simpson.
We have. This market is fairly static, to be honest, Dave. Boot Hill has been 4-1 since Monday. Red Rookie, St. Segal, 9-2. But the horse that has just attracted some support in the last sort of 24 hours is First Flow. This was 10 when it opened up on Monday, now down to 11-2. So they're taking the class angle here. First Flow, 11-2 from 10.
All right then. Class angles all over the place. Tom, come to you first. We like your horse, as we're now
Named
calling
after
it.
me, obviously.
Very nice of Jane and
Yeah.
Co to do that. St. Segal, I didn't get him quite right, but I'm quite excited by this horse. It's exciting the way he races.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of potential. I mean, that's why I'm often a potential backer rather than a seasoned form veteran. You know, one of those types. And I think he's got a lot more upside. He's only 5.
Yeah.
First Flow, for example, is 11 now, isn't he? And I just thought he had a potential a lot of upside. He was really good in his first 2 chases. One at Chepstow, I can't remember the other one. And then I thought he was even better at Doncaster. I thought he should have really beaten Malistic that day. I think we can throw out his run at Warwick.
Too keen, wasn't
Yeah,
he? Horrible
and
race.
He's had a wind up since then. Jane Williams' horses have started really well. I just thought he had the upside, and what he'll need is a strong pace, and he should get it because there's plenty of front runners.
Yeah, he's working back from the Grand Annual with this horse, basically. He is that sort of horse.
Well, I hope so. I hope he's that
Yeah.
good. I mean, he's got to prove it yet. Because
The interesting thing about him is it was Hereford where he won.
Yeah.
And that's his only run on a right-handed track. So he's 1
Yeah.
from 1 there going there. I've had a good look at this horse. You can imagine. It'll do for me. But Rodway and you are all over this First Flow.
Well,
It's a
you know,
capitulation
I mean,
of price.
well, being a pair of old farts ourselves, I mean, we like these seasoned veterans, as Tom called them. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those races where you can make a case of pretty much everything. You can see by the betting there. I mean, if you wanted me to tip one, I'd make a case for it quite easily.
Yeah.
But First Flow, he obviously goes well fresh. He did actually win a similar chase to this 3 years ago, first time out. He won the Peterborough first time out the following season. He was 3rd last year. He's had all sorts of problems over his life, but he was still 2nd, giving weight to the 168 rated Hewitt last year at Sandown on his final start. That suggests the ability is still there. Whether the ability at 2 mile 1 furlong is still there remains to be seen, because that was 2.6 back then. But if he's still got the pace, he's a very, very classy horse. He hasn't he has only very, very rarely in the last couple of seasons managed to get proper soft ground. I think the only time he did, he was running against Shishkin and Energy here. So now he's got it in a handicap, mark of 158. I think he's still up to it.
Yeah.
Gets in a rhythm, it'd be hard to pass. He won a Calamity House here by 7 lengths.
It's just whether he gets into that rhythm, isn't it? It's just whether he needs a bit
If he can
further
get into
now.
a rhythm and he's quick enough, and that's the only thing.
with-
We'll find out soon enough.
With Captain Mathan in the race, he's a proper front runner. You've got Fernambol, we're not sure what he'll do, but he's gone from the front as well. It could be a bit of a burn-up, couldn't it?
Yeah,
We haven't
Fernambol
mentioned
doesn't have to.
We haven't mentioned Boot Hill, of course.
Well, he's just very solid, isn't he?
Loves Ascot. doesn't he?
Great chance.
Like Ascot, got a
Great
got a
chance.
top chance, yeah.
All right, so wide open race. St. Segal for myself and Tom. First flow for Keels. Let us know what you're doing below. We'll try and read some of that out as we go. Shall we go to what's thought to be the big one at Ascot then?
No, it's not.
Shall we go? Here we go. Look. Oh, yeah, 3:15 coming up next. Not quite the big one yet. I could say it's the big tip at Ascot, couldn't I? It's Outer Belly. We'll get Keels' thoughts about that after Johnny tells us about how this market has matured overnight.
Yeah, this is we're paying 4 places here, Dave, so it's a little bit more competitive, giving the customers a bit of each way value. Our champ was our 6-1 favourite on Monday, and they've taken that. It's around 9-2 now. We think the sort of price is bottoming out a little bit there. That race at Cheltenham, we won, really easily. But we think at 4-1, 9-2 is about. We're happy to lay that. The movers are bad. Double figures overnight. It's kind of quite expensive to follow. Cause if you remember, this was the talking horse for the Boodles last year, and he was nowhere to be seen. But the other money horse is Alta Belly. This is 4 from 7. Now, Harry Fry thinks the world of this horse, so you can see the angle there.
All right, thanks, Johnny. Yeah, of course, bad for the Boodles. Remember that gamble? It was absolutely massive, wasn't it? Let's bring in a comment from the floor then, out there. Our YouTube watchers. We've got flipping heck, sort of thing Johnny Simpson might say. Members Club works for me. Everything in one place. Easy video review. These are all very kind, aren't they? Horse tracking, it pays for itself. There you go, absolutely, 50% off.
That's not real, is it? We made that one up, sure. It's far too nice.
Sam and Dave Lowe are typing these out as we go. But maybe we won't read the comments later.
Yeah, read the real ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, let's have it in. Let's get the banter going. All right, okay. You can take the floor now, Kills, because Outer Belly, and like Tom, I was agreeing with him in the previous race, this has got a massive chance.
Well, I was all over Rare Middleton earlier in the week. I thought he was a really promising horse, and I kept looking at the race again, kept looking at Alta Belly, and I came to the conclusion he's the one horse in the race that could completely blow it apart. I was actually surprised Tom didn't tip him because he likes horses like that. And it's just that run at Carlisle last year. Okay, it wasn't a great race, but he won by 25 lengths in a canter, in a time, easily the best time on the card. The third was beaten nearly 30 lengths, won a couple of starts later, came out, finished third to Crambo at Aintree off a mark of 117. This horse is rated 131, wants bottomless ground. I mean, he was 12 to 1 for a Grade 1 last year. Without getting the ground he is going to get here. So I think everything's perfect for him, other than we don't know that he can jump yet, because he belted a few at Carlisle and he was terrible. His jumping was terrible the first time as well. So, but we've had a whole season to drill it into him, haven't we? So, if he can jump, I think he's potentially a lot better than his mark.
Ex-protege of Paul Nicholls, of course, this stinks of one that might, be seeing what he can do over hurdles before he goes chasing. Of course, I'm sort of laughing through that because you were nodding when Keels was saying this might be one that you tipped. What put you off him?
Jumping and price. I just knew he was. When you see the Racing Post selection box and you 7 or 8 people have gone for it, you know there's going to be one that everyone's going to be sort of keen on.
Oh, I never look at that,
Oh, do you not? Well, anyway, and I thought he's just going to become a ridiculously short price because he has got jumping frailty so far. He might be perfect, but I thought they're going to go really, really hard here with Knickerbocker, Glory and Our Champ and a few others in there to set a really strong pace. Yeah. And I thought that was going to potentially, look, Keels is exactly right. He could be thrown in, but so could Our Champ. Now, people are saying he might not go on the ground, and he might not. But he's by Champs-Élysées. There's a good chance he'll be fine on it, I think. I know people say he didn't run very well last year, but his form last year was totally nothing like what he's done twice this year. I was at Cheltenham on Friday, believe it or not. I went to the races.
What?
I know. I know, I was at
Can
Cheltenham
anyone
last
verify
Friday.
that
I
out
was
there
there
on the floor?
He was really impressive. He really quickened up
He
after
was
the
like
last.
4 or 5 seconds faster than the Grade 2, wasn't he?
He was really good, and I am a Chris Gordon groupie. Now, there's not many of
Whoa!
them. There's not many of them around, but there's not many people. I think probably over the last 3 years, he has got the best record in 2 mile hurdles of anyone in Britain. You've got Auken Risk, you've got Lord Baddesley, you've got Highway 1, 2, 1.
Who won this last season, didn't he?
Who won a race like, I'm not
I
sure.
think it was this one, wasn't it?
Was it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers.
But he's got a tremendous record with 2 mile hurdlers.
Yeah.
But it's right up with Dan Skelton, given the number of runners he has in them. He won the Betfair. Lord Baddesley was 4th in the Betfair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just like his horses, and I thought he was really impressive. And I got the impression he was going to become a backable price now, whereas Altobelli might go the other way. So that's why I went for our champ. I totally get the case for Altobelli. I wanted to take on the 4-year-olds, Dave. I just thought British 4-year-olds last year were absolutely useless. So I wanted to take them all on, and I thought they would all drift.
It will be interesting to see what Bad can do, won't it, for Pauling and the team, who've got a big chance coming up in the next race. All right, so interesting race. We're going for the top of the market, so it's had its say, basically. I wonder which one of them do you think will go off, Fav?
I think Altobelli.
Altobelli will take the 4th one now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be any bigger.
Shouldn't have asked Tom.
I
He's
can't
come
ask
off.
these questions. It's so impossible to predict the market. on
Well, it's
the-
opinion, isn't it?
I
That's all it is.
don't think it'd be any bigger than that.
All right, okay. Keel says won't be any bigger than 4-1. Price crash. They weren't agreeing on this race, but they have done. Now it's time for the biggie. It is the Sodexo Live Gold Cup. Johnny Simpson, time to hide behind the sofa because it's Beauport.
It is 8-1. We put this in on Monday. That's been taken, and it's now 130 favourite. Overwhelming support for this horse all week. Conversely, Monbeg Genius, who was 72 favourite at the start of the week, is now out to 6-1. Now, this will get to a point where it is too big. Obviously, we've talked about he's got the potential for the Coral Gold Cup or the Grand National later down the line. But first time out at 6-1, we're happy to take him on up to that point. There has been a little bit of money in the last, I can tell you this right now, Dave. Yeah, man. Gavin Cromwell right down at the bottom. This is in the last hour or so. This is 6 from 12. There's been some really good support for this in the last half an hour or so.
All right, great stuff. And I'll tell you what, it's something that we're seeing a bit more, isn't it? Of course, Gav Cromwell coming over, obviously, winners at Cheltenham. And
Well, you can't blame him, can you? If he was to run in a handicap in Ireland, he'd have 10 Willie Mullins and 5 Gordon Elliott's to beat. He had no chance.
We're going to get to Sunday. In a bit. All right, so Yeah Man is the steamer with Hills. Overnight, of course, the price crash on Beauport. Let's get another crowd's comment on the screen for you. Question. All right, question for Tom and Keels. We managed to get, half an hour and we've got there. What racecourse in the world you've not been to would love to attend? Santa Anita. Didn't it look glorious last night, lads?
No idea.
Ronnie didn't watch it, me old friend.
Ronnie Front, he's got some asking him that, I can tell you that much. What racecourse you've never been to would you like to attend?
I don't know. I know I'd like to go to something like Chartier or Happy Valley, something like that.
Yeah, just punt madness,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Flemington. I'd love to go to the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, Flemington.
Breeders' Cup, forget it. Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, I just wouldn't go racing in America.
Just wouldn't. Because
No,
you've been.
I can't
You
stand.
weren't tempted to go to a track?
I can't stand dirt racing.
There's turf racing there, man. Could have gone to the trots.
There was nothing there.
Could have
where I
gone
was.
ground
There was
racing.
nothing there where I was. They've only got about 2 ground tracks in the whole of America now, you know.
We could easily digress. Thanks, Ronnie, for that. All right, okay, let's carry on, shall we? I want to talk about Monbeg Genius because on the big jump off, we spoke to you about that in the put-out, still available to get out there, 72 pages of unmissable anti-post action. Tom, one of your selections you were asked to do away from the Cheltenham Festival, obviously. You looked at the Coral Gold Cup. You put Monbeg Genius up at, and I asked you at the top of the show what it might have been.
14, 16, one of those.
Okay.
One of those, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and here he is. Did you see him making his... I mean...
I didn't, actually. I thought he was going to run it. Now, he's still in at Carlisle tomorrow. I thought they'd start in
The Colin Parker.
Colin Park,
Yeah.
2.5 miles, set him up perfectly, because this will be a slog round here today. Having said that, John Joe ran Merry King in this a few years ago, a couple of times, and he went on to nearly win the Coral Gold Trophy with Oliver Sherwood's horse. Many Clouds.
Yes.
That year. AP rode him. And
You plucked that out of nowhere. Well done, man.
AP rode him and he jumped the last in front. So it's a race that John Joe's used as a stepping stone for the Coral race in the past.
Okay, so look, Johnny mentioned what price does he go out to when he's backable. He's got no form going right-handed over fences base. It was seemingly a big tick for this race. Ascot's quite obviously on the turn all the time. What would you be happy with going into the Cold Gold Cup? That would be what a lot of people want to know.
His performance
yes.
here? Well,
he's going to get a pen, obviously, if he wins. We don't want that.
Listen, if he wins this and gets a £4 pennant, so what? He's still got a good chance and still got a great chance in the Newbury race. You just want him to run a race, don't you?
Yeah, okay, that's him then. You have done what everyone expects you to do now on a Saturday and agreed on one here. So you're watching Monbeg Genius. You've already got in for the Cold Gold Trophy. It's all about Beauport now, who opened up a much bigger price earlier in the week.
He's great form on soft ground.
Yeah.
Right-handed, Sandown form.
Yeah, he's won an EBF final at Sandown. He was second in a almost 3 mile race there, wasn't he?
Miles clearly.
Jordan Naylor, of course, it's Jordan's ride, isn't
another
it?
Graded horse, another graded race there as well. So and obviously first time out last year, the Colin Parker Memorial. So, and that was first ever run over fences, and I thought he was going to really take off because he jumped really well. He looked an absolute natural. He's running against horses with tons of experience, and then the rest of his season sort of fell apart. He did travel beautifully in the Kimure before seemingly not getting home, and he was absolutely tanking along at the back at Aintree on his final start last season before coming down. So he has got issues jumping, but he's a horse that goes very, very well fresh. The thing is, the point is now, how short do you go?
Yeah.
He was 8th on Monday. He was 11-2 last night.
Lightly winner, but wouldn't be getting
lightly
involved
winner
now.
I'm not going to back him at 130 now.
So alternatives. Only 3 of the last 7 winners have been double-figure prices, so it does go to a fancied runner. Larry has won this before. Got some right old favourites in here, and with 2 for Gold comes back out. He's got first flow, of course. Kimmy's amongst the winner, Kim Bailey, and Eldorado Allen is there. Yeah, man, we've heard about.
I'll tell you what, Dave, I wouldn't want to be Dr. Newland's cat if Yeah Man wins, because if the Irish are going to come over and win this race with a horse that gets beat round Clonmel and places like that, they're going to come over in their bucket loads because there's a lot of money on offer for this race.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there are loads of 100 grand chases at Ascot particularly.
Well, there are.
And this year, man's nothing great.
No, he's a 6-year-old. He is race fit. I mean, he was beat by a 10-year-old last time. It's not, it's not brilliant form, but he does have race fitness on his side.
He's a target trainer, though, Gavin Cromwell, isn't he? I'm not saying that others aren't, but he probably this was the plan.
Well, look, Gavin, he'll be coming over for the cash, won't he?
Yeah.
There's a lot of money on offer for this race, and he wouldn't get anything like it. People complain about prize money.
Yeah.
I think it's a complete red herring. There's a lot of money up for this race, and he's spotted a chink there where he can get a moderate horse in the bottom of the weights.
I have to say I'm agreeing with you guys. I think Beauport was the most likely winner. I was looking at this on Wednesday.
I think I've got to mention Eldorado.
Go on.
Well, this is his easiest chance for age, isn't he? Down to 154, got a good £7 claimer off. He was second in the Betfair Chase last year.
Freddie Gingle taking off the 7.
Yeah. So
he has to be a player. I mean, he's another horse who can belt one, isn't he? But
yes,
he's a consistent horse who doesn't.
He's done
win.
really well to come back, hasn't he, after that injury?
I thought Macho Mass did well last year.
A lot of people talking about him kills.
He's got no issues with the ground.
I think the ground.
I think he's got the potential to run very well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fans going there for Mucho Mass today. What about Phlegmatic? He's at a wind up.
I don't see him getting home on that ground over 3 miles.
2 for Gold because he got a chance.
He wants a flat right-handed
back to
3 miles.
Do you remember the day at Kempton?
Oh, one of the most painful days of my life, that was.
STD get past you on the line?
He was our champ, wasn't it?
No,
our champ just kept going.
I think it was
our champ.
Power.
Oh, Power, sorry.
Power, Charlie Deutscher. It might have been Sam.
It might have been Sam.
Yeah, it was Sam. All right, okay, that's Ascot said and done. The hot put's in the first. It looks to be immortal, as Lewis Thomas says, now into around about 6-4 with Hills. Let us know what you're going for at Ascot. We'll be up to Wetherby after this. All right, absolutely thrilled to say that we do go up to Wetherby. Then David Carr, Broadband, joins me on the line. David, thank goodness you're there.
Yes, it's tremendous to be. It was an interesting day on the course yesterday. They put in a hell of a lot of work. I don't know who the clerk of the course is at Santa Anita for the Breeders' Cup, but preparing a track in 30-degree sunshine and glorious weather that's money for old rope compared with being here at Wetherby, where I went down the back straight yesterday. It was very squelchy in places, and the river level's high, the dikes are high, the water wasn't draining away. They hoped it would. Fingers crossed. They pumped an awful lot of water overnight, and the great news is it's worked when we're racing.
And what about rail alignment and stuff, David? I mean, Wetherby was, of course, the sort of, straw that broke the camel's back with the race distances years ago, wasn't it? If anything, they should be the market leaders at it. But is there lots of different alignment?
As I understand it, they'll be missing out the middle hurdle in the back straight, and that's where it really is a bit squelchy there. But apart from that, fingers crossed, we'll be racing as what everyone expects, and we'll have a normal Charlie Hall, which is something to celebrate. Yes,
kicking off at 12:40, of course. I suppose it's quantity over quality, although the normal field sizes in other races have, like they've stood up. Braveman's game then around about 4 to 6 honestly goes for last year's success.
Yes, I mean, this was the race last year where he'd been a very promising novice the previous season, but this was the race where he really looked, he could be a proper high-class top draw chaser. And he won it well, and they deliberately waited for King George. And I think that was a very good performance at Kempton. Long Press 8, he had that horse beaten, and I think that's a good horse as well. Absolutely no disgrace whatsoever in being beaten at Cheltenham by an absolute superstar. And he's a sort of horse that you wouldn't be surprised, given the way he's been trained and the man he's with, if he didn't eke out a little bit more improvement this year. The ground is a lot more testing than it was this time last year. I don't think he's any less likely to handle than any other three in the field, though.
Is there a difference between the hurdles and the chase track today, David?
Oh, well, I just think because the hurdles are slightly more inside, the water will drain from the chase course onto the hurdle course into the dikes. So the drainage, there's been slightly less water drained off there just because of where it is physically. It might be a shade more testing, but I wouldn't think for any one moment that the chase course is anything other than very heavy as well.
Great stuff. David, hoisting your stinks in the betting. My old favourite, Dashel Drasher, comes out in the Yorkshire hurdle. I'm going to be putting him up. He's up against Time Hill. There's loads of stories there for you today. We can't wait to read your reports. Thanks, Broadband, for coming back on.
Brilliant. Thanks, Doug. I'll see you soon.
Thank goodness he's there then. Thank goodness it's on. They've done a lot of good work up there. Well done, guys at Wetherby. And we're going to have a look at the two feature races. There are 3 graded races there for you today. Really interesting races around it as well. But it's the Yorkshire hurdle we go to at 2:25. And I suppose, Johnny Simpson, that punters were sitting on their hands until now, or?
Yes, Dave, they have been. It's been a really quiet market this. On Monday, we had Botox Hass at 8 to 1. That was the only one that took a little bit of interest, but that is nearly back out to the price it was on Monday. Tyne Hill and Dashel Drasher both 15 to 8, 2 to 1 range. We've barely seen any interest in this market at all. The one I thought at a price, an ambitious fellow for Peter Fahey. It's not a million miles off if he can improve a touch. And he'll enjoy this type of ground, which is sure to be really heavy up at Wetherby.
Another Irish raider coming to plunder our prizes potentially there. Graham Rodway did a big piece about how that might not need to improve all that much. This is one of the races I've been looking forward to all week. I'm thrilled it's on.
Have you?
Yeah.
Give us a reason.
I think this is all about the Dashel. 3rd in the Stayers last year. He's a magnificent horse, this. I absolutely love him.
He's a lovely horse. If you don't like Dashel Drasher, there's something wrong with you. However, he's not got the best first-time outlook. I know he won last year, but he struggled to beat a horse rated 131 or something.
I did a little bit of digging on this to give you a little bit of insight. Done a little bit of digging.
Rev, wasn't it?
Done a little bit of digging, and this is potentially going to be. I mean, he's coming to the end now of his.
Well, yeah, of course he is.
Twilight,
of course he is.
But they're going to campaign him slightly differently, I think. They were tempted by the Charlie Hall, apparently.
I mean, he can jump fences, he can jump hurdles, and he's a very, very talented horse. But the older they get, the more they tend to need races and need a race. And he's a horse that tends to thrive on racing as well. So I always think if there's a time to take him on, it's probably first time out.
He will love this ground, and he'll keep going. This is a race that traditionally you see horses warming up for other targets. We saw 300 through 5 from memory.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've got Garlaw in here, haven't we?
He's got the best form in the race. You could say Time Hill is up there with him on his old hurdles form.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's capable of.
Hobson, Johnson, White
they're going really well though.
I like.
You're a big fan of Time Hill anyway.
I like him today. I think he'll win.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're going head to head then. I like it. The first head.
I think he's a better horse than Dashel Drasher. I do. I think the last year's Stayers hurdle form's not really worth the paper it's
Well, it
written on.
might not be, but I just
And
think...
I think Time Hill's a proper top-class horse who will be right today because the stable's going so well. I think this would have been the plan.
Oh, it's definitely been the plan, yeah.
And I think he's got a great chance. I think going back over hurdles is a big plus for him. He was good in the Quarto Star at Kempton, but he lost his confidence in the Brown Advisory.
He didn't look that great prior to the Quarto Star, did he, over fence? He didn't look
No, he didn't.
natural.
But the Quarto Star was a big shock to me because I wasn't expecting him to jump that well, but it was soft ground that day. I think he loved the conditions.
Do you know what? It's just never been a horse that I've really got right. When he was at Newbury, he was terrible, wasn't he? Do you remember all that sort of stuff?
When he jumped over fences.
Yeah, I think I backed him in the Albert Bartlett going back. Do you remember? He was the horse that made Richard Johnson swear as he went past the line because he thought he should have won it and stuff like that. He's a classy animal, but it's dash all for me. Anything else? Botox has? Red Risk is a friend of yours, not good enough, is he?
Yeah, Red Risk, yeah, I managed to nick a few quid on him last year in a race at Newbury. I'm not absolutely convinced 3 miles on bottomless ground is his bag, but it is for Botox has. And it does need the front two both to underperform for him to win it, but I think he'll be fresh and fit and well, and you know, I have my doubts over the front two, so if I was going to have a little bet, I would take a chance on Botox has.
Yeah, the anti-postman Robbie Wilders has gone for that as well. So who do we think will go off Fav here? Because there's two. Again, don't ask Tom. Do you think Sport will come for Time Hill?
I genuinely don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them took a big walk though.
If you're not keen on the 2-1 for Dashel, stick on the show. Let's go to what many people consider the feature of the day. It is the Charlie Hall. Quantity over quality is not what... That's what I said, wasn't it, during the interview, which you wisely picked me up on.
Can't help it. Sorry.
I'm not having kippers yet. But it is all about quality, isn't it, Johnny? And despite the fact that this might be on, might be off, I imagine this is a race that punters have been very keen to have a look at, despite there's only 4.
Yeah, the big talking horse is Brave Man's Game, King George winner last year. Obviously, a little bit of Willie won't he run during the week. We're glad he's turned up. He's currently 8-11, but obviously we're going even money for £100 up to the end of the show. The horse who has attracted a little bit of support in the last 24 hours is Gentleman's Game, another Irish horse. Obviously, be careful with your games there. Gentleman's Game 7-2 from 11-2.
Right, okay, so that's the boost basically, out to even money. Is that going to tempt you in?
I don't sort of bet those sort of prices, but I certainly wouldn't put anybody off. I mean, I love Brave Man's Game, and he's a very, very, very good horse.
Have we got a yin and yang situation?
No, he's the best British staying chaser, I think.
He's brilliant fresh. We know that he goes incredibly well in early part of the season, and for the first time last year proved that he could last a full season out as well.
Okay.
But he's going to be ready enough for this, isn't he?
All right.
I think even money is a big price deep down. I like Keels. I'm not
deep down.
I'm not the type of guy that bets at that sort of prices.
Well, there's a question coming in from Johnny Lewis, 0910. How many times has Nickel pulled Brave Man's Game out because of the ground too soft? I wouldn't back it today. Well, that has been a thing, of course. That goes back to the Ballymore, doesn't it, and all that sort of stuff. But remember, it was over. It wasn't the Ballymore. It was the Brown Advisory, of course, wasn't it? Got thrashed in the Ballymore, didn't he? He didn't turn up for the Brown Advisory, and I guess everyone's pigeonholed him since. Or?
Yeah, wasn't it quite soft at Kempton?
Yeah, King George was soft. I don't see the ground being an issue.
It's fine.
Punters don't forget, do they? These things.
They don't. Hoyston was interested in. Obviously, it looks like he's weak in the bet, and a bit like Carr Rambler was. He might well need it, but it was interesting that Lucinda Russell said last week that he's actually got him jumping straight at home. That would be interesting to see if he does that today. One to watch out for. Obviously, wasn't he well thumped in this race last year?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he jumped really badly in this race.
Yeah, so
I thought Gentleman's Game had a chance, but the price has gone now.
He's got
improve
a serious amount of improvement to do, but he is only 7 and he has had a run.
And he's had a run, and he's not had many chances over fences. He had a run recently behind Easy Game. He had Envoy Allen behind him, and I know it's debatable form, but he's going to get out. He's going to jump, and he's going to like the ground, and he's going to stay. He's going to improve for the step up in trip. For sure.
Midnight River's got some sexy entries, hasn't he?
It's an interesting place to run him in.
Yeah, he's got to step up, hasn't he?
He's a
horse has been suited to big field handicaps, isn't he? And Can be a
This
bit
is
of a culture
surely
shock sometimes.
this is surely a prep for the Newbury race, isn't it? Get him ready. Doesn't think he's going to win. Won't get a penalty.
I really like the horse. I was with him quite a few times last year, and if you remember in his novice season, he couldn't jump a fence. They've done great work to get on him. Let's give a forecast for this then. Hoyson, your stinks in the market, as I've referenced. I mean, he's got a rotten first-time out record. It all went wrong in this race last year, didn't it? Great horse. Everyone loves him. Real character. Should get the lead today, though, shouldn't he?
Yeah, if he wants it.
But so Brave Man's Game? Are we all?
No, I think Gentleman's. Earlier in the week, I had a few quid on Gentleman's Game at a much bigger price because I thought the race would cut up, and I knew he was running, and I thought he was, but 7-2's plenty, short enough on form.
Okay, all right, there you go. 1-2. So Gentleman's Game to beat Brave. It's all about the game.
I think Brave Man's Game will probably win, but at the value prices earlier in the week, I was a Gentleman's Game fan, so I'll stick with him.
Get involved in that boost then if you can.
Top two in a bit in the same order.
Gentleman's Game.
No, Brave Man's Game.
Brave Man's Game to follow.
No, Brave Man's Game to beat Gentleman's Game.
What a game it is! All right, marvellous
Lots of
stuff.
man's
Yeah, I
games.
think that's a good forecast as well. The two games, reverse them up. All right, can't wait to see it though, whatever. And Keith Melrose, I will remind you, in the paper today, go and get it. Digital edition, or if you're feeling it in your fingers, he sets a really nice preview. This will set the standard in the Staying Chase division, Gold Cup division, if you like it, until the King George. It's exciting, isn't it? That is a showpiece at 3 o'clock at Wetherby. Right now, though, no Down Royal this weekend, which was a gutter for most. We'll be getting the boys' reaction to that. But it's time for the Irish Angle, and believe it or not, somewhere out there, he joins us again. Everyone's favourite, as I'm going to keep calling him, our deputy editor, is Dave Jennings.
Good morning. How are you, Dave?
I'm buzzing as ever, DJ. These two think I'm grumpy. The crowd love it, though. And I've got my pal back on. No Down Royal, then?
No, I was going to say you're better than I am. Usually you ask me how am I and I say I'm great. Well, I'm not great this morning because it was my birthday during the week. We went out for a few drinks last night to celebrate, crawled into the bed at about 2:30, and then Georgia and James crawled into the bed at about 4:30. So I've been up since 5 o'clock. I have a splitting headache. I feel sick. And Saturday hasn't started great.
So you've had a right touch that there's no Irish racing then until tomorrow?
Yeah, I was absolutely gutted all week that Down Royal was off because I was supposed to be there. Now I'm absolutely delighted.
But we're hoping to get it on next weekend, is that right?
Yeah, it's on Friday and Saturday. They've just pushed it back a week. I think it was real sensible planning, to be honest with you, because they made the call early. There was a chance that Saturday might have went ahead. Friday was obviously lost. But the rain we've had here in the last 24 hours, Dave, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know how there's still room for more rain to fall because all week here it's been relentless. And I think they did make the right call because the forecast was quite patchy through Friday here, so it was into Saturday morning. So it would have been an inspection this morning at Down Royal. They've played it safe. They've gone next weekend. And it means that next weekend you've got Down Royal, Friday and Saturday. The following weekend you've got the Navan Racing Festival with the Tri-Town and all the greater races Saturday and Sunday. The weekend after that you've got Punchestown, the Morgiana and the John Durkin. And then the weekend after that you've got, of course, the Fairyhouse Winter Festival with the Hatton's Grace and all the greater ones, the Drimmore and the Royal Bond. So 4 massive weekends of jumps racing in Ireland, one after the other.
Oh, unbelievable scenes. All the top notchers coming out then. Before I ask you about tomorrow's racing and today's, whatever thoughts you've got, DJ, because people will, despite your hungover state, want to hear from you, believe it or not. A lovely piece on the website, in the paper, 622 days. The plan has nearly come to fruition. Of course, it's Vauban time. Melbourne Cup. Absurd goes out for Willie as well. The team have gone out there. What is he? He's around about a 5-2 shot, isn't he? Johnny Simpson here at William Hill, ducking for cover. You'll be getting up, I imagine.
Absolutely. I heard Tom, I was watching the show earlier. Great show so far, boys. And Tom said the one race he'd love to go to is Flemington in the Melbourne Cup. I was lucky enough to be there in 2017 when Rekindling won. Covered it for the Racing Post. Like, it's just the most amazing experience. It's hard to put into words, just the atmosphere and the build up to one big, massive race. I suppose a bit like the Grand National at Aintree from our point of view. But just with Vauban, I said it in the piece, I think all of Willie Mullins' runners in the Melbourne Cup so far, and he's had the second, third and fourth. He's had 6 different horses try it, 8 different times. 2 of them ran twice. But I think it was always a kind of an afterthought and, oh God, let's see what we have for the Melbourne Cup come kind of, June, July, August time. This year, I said it was 622 days because that's when Willie Mullins told us in his pre-Cheltenham stable tour before the Triumph Hurdle that he was planning bigger things for Vauban. I think it was actually earlier than that. It was probably, you can add a year onto that. This has been a plan for the best part of 3 years, I'd say. That would be my guess. Everything just seems to be falling into place. the draw even this morning. I think 3 or 4 times Stall 3 has won since the 2000 since the start of the century, and I think he is one horse that did need. I know double figure draws have a good record in the race. He was one horse that needed a low draw because he's going to be prominent. He's going to be there. He's not going to be held up in mid division. He's going to be in the first 3, 4, 5. You'd imagine. I just think all the stars are kind of aligning for Vauban, and it looks like he's going to go off very short. It's getting to the stage now where you'd actually be probably disappointed if he doesn't win.
I think so. There was a piece, wasn't there, on Twitter of him working the house down there. The Australians have braced, but maybe it'll not be about him. All right, DJ, looking forward to that. Just quickly then, DJ, apart from Alka-Seltzer today, what's the nap?
Today, I'm like Tom. I like Time Hill in Wetherby. I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. I just think he's a different calibre horse to the ones he's racing against there. And I do think Tom made a good point as well. Like these Irish horses that are coming over, like Yeah Man, all the support for Yeah Man at Ascot. Like Yeah Man he's probably a midweek horse running in a big Saturday race in England. Do you know what I mean? So if he were to win that big pot, it would be a little bit disappointing for the home team over there. I'm looking forward to the Charlie Hall. We've obviously got 2 meetings in Ireland tomorrow. I think the best bet of the whole weekend, I think, goes in a handicap hurdle at Cork tomorrow, and it's trained by Conor Dwyer. It's a horse called Scradden, who his son Charlie rides, and Charlie takes off £5. Really good rider, Charlie. Won a maiden hurdle at Fairyhouse last time, beat Shannon Royal of Gordon Elliott's, who was beaten in the maiden hurdle but ran quite well, given weight away earlier on this week at Thurles. I think Scradden as well handicapped off a mark of 114. He's a horse they've always liked. They paid a nice bit of money for him. He runs in the 12.55 at Cork. It's a 2-mile handicap hurdle, and I think he'll be very hard to beat. He'll be my best bet of the weekend. That's Scradden in the 12.55 at Cork. Superb,
DJ, despite your sterling performance as ever. We'll let you get back. You're not going to pull the curtains. You're going to go air the dog, aren't you, man?
I'm working. I'm on a news shift today, so I have to get to 6 o'clock somehow.
All right, there's a social food. DJ is a decent bloke, says Tom Leach. There's an oxymoron there somewhere. But DJ, thanks for coming on again. We'll see you next week, man.
Cheers, Dave.
Happy birthday for the week as well. All right, before we get and have a quick look on Sunday, DJ's teased it. It's Breeders' Cup tonight, of course. Big Evs, more European success. Delighted to say that William Hill's very own Luke Elder gave us this piece.
The feature day of the Breeders' Cup is Saturday night. You can catch every single race live from the Breeders' Cup on William Hill Betting TV. Saturday night, you can get my thoughts as well. I'll be live throughout the course of the evening with all the build-ups, fallout, and everything else in between regarding Santa Anita. But best bet for Saturday night, we're going to look towards the filly and mare's turf. I think an ex-European trained horse in Lindy can take this out. I thought it was unlucky last time around when trying to run down Morge. Didn't get the perfect trip that day, stayed on nicely. This trip really should suit. The form from Kentucky Downs is fine, got the job done. It was really a race you would expect her to win with all the non-runners. But her form in France was good behind the likes of Blue Rose Sen. I do feel there's more to come from Lindy, and at an each-way price that she could be the main play of the night. I think regarding the Classic, it's disappointing now that Arcangelo's come out. I thought he was going to be the selection. But we'll go to Japan. We'll take Ushba Tesoro, who managed to win the Dubai World Cup. He's an improving individual. I'd like to think that Ushba Tesoro could at least serve it up to the US horses that might just seem a little bit under par now. Regarding the Breeders' Cup turf, Up to the Mark is a very good US turf horse. It will be a big effort for the likes of King of Steel to win this after running at Champions Day just a little while ago. I think Up to the Mark could be underrated in our markets and is an each-way play in that spot. And in the turf sprint, again, I think this could stay in the US and in California in particular. Motorius has been in great form here in California at the likes of Del Mar and also Santa Anita. There should be a lot of pace in this contest. Watch out for Caravel to jump out early on. The heart wants Living the Dream to win the race for Adam West, but my head says Motorius. Enjoy the Breeders' Cup of 2023. Every single race live on William Hill Betting TV.
The elder one there himself. Marvellous. All right, OK. Johnny Simpson, there's no point in asking these two about it. You've boosted Inspiral, of course. That's one of the races of the night, up against the crack Ballydoyle filly that is Warm Heart. I know you like her. Luke gave us a couple of prices there. August Rodin in the turf looks sensational. Jewel Derby winner up against a Champion Stakes winner. You name it. This is a perler, isn't it?
Yeah, some real big names running here tonight, Dave, and some competitive prices and some extra places for customers to get stuck into. August Rodin, we're happy to take him on around the 5-2 mark. You know, long season. It's a short price to me. We prefer Moshdaff at the front of the market there.
Moshdaff, it's like Plan Z, isn't it? All right, you go. Moshdaff's running as well, lads.
Loves
Would
fast
you
ground.
believe it?
Loves fast ground, doesn't he?
Oh, you're like those
Fresh,
two grumps
loves
on
fast
New
ground.
Year's Eve that pull the curtains at 9 p.m, aren't you?
No, listen, I don't mind turf racing over there, but I don't do an awful lot of homework for it because it's not that I watch. I don't know. In fact, never heard of any of the American runners.
Yeah,
So-
Johnny, you will see a lot of activity. I mean, you'll see almost more for tonight than you will on a rainy Saturday afternoon, won't you?
We will do. The Breeders' Cup is the one meeting on an evening every year that captures the punter's imagination. You see the parties and they get together with friends and whatnot. It's something that turnover really does go through the roof.
Star-spangled banners everywhere. Tom's
No
loving it.
one has a Breeders' Cup
I've
party.
got
I'm
people
not
coming
having
round
it.
to mine tonight. Can't wait.
Yeah, but you're a weirdo.
No, I am a bit of a weirdo, that's right. All right, come on, let's whittle through the rest of the show. Great to have you with us on the Morning Post in association with William Hill here at the Racing Post. All available to you with promoing the paper. Of course, it's Sunday fair, of course, up at Carlisle. Really good card. Shall we go to the Colin Parker Memorial now? This is a market that's going to obviously change, Johnny, because obviously Monbeg Genius was doubly entered along with Beauport in case Ascot was off today. They're electing to go for their first. Mile and Mission, I suppose, for John McConnell is going to be a real shorty, is he?
Yeah, 9-4 Mile and Mission. He was obviously a very unlucky baller in the National Hunt Chase, coming down 2 out. This market will reshape once the numbers have come out. It's nothing to. We won't be taking any particular positions at this time. But Mile and Mission, the horse in focus here.
This is a race traditionally, lads, where you can see Paddy Power Gold Cup winners, isn't it? I suppose Coral Gold Trophy winners now as well. Thunder Rock's an interesting horse. Bass Rock's an interesting horse as well. He was so disappointing, wasn't he, after a really good start to the season?
Really well first time up, didn't he?
I think first time. They've got a couple of interesting horses.
He loves bottomless ground as well, doesn't he?
Bill Baxter won the
Bill Baxter, he was
on the entry race.
Of course,
Good jumper.
Yeah,
of course.
he's a good jumper. It's not a one-horse race, but Thunder Rock's decent. They're actually on their best form. There is very little between Mile and Mission.
He's
and
got
Thunder
Jerry
Rock.
Colon form, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he ran really well.
I think he'd be the pick for me. I think if jumping is the interesting thing. Spoke to Max McNeil not that long ago about him, and still thinks he's well handicapped.
See the prices. I mean, the thing about knowing that you're going to have 2 horses out there, everything's going to be a bit shorter. But funnily enough, some horses will drift on the day. Bill Baxter remains sort of. If Bill Baxter say 5-1, I would take that.
All right, OK. Watch the market then for that. Let's go to Cork, shall we? A really interesting card there, and a marathon test coming up with the Cork Grand National, which is basically the Gordon Elliott race, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, done a lot of work on this, haven't we, Keels?
Royal Thief is your fav then. A Gigginsdown horse. Emily de Bromhead's got Walk Away. I've got a project in there called Deal Cure, who has his Deal Cure. Used to be with Noel Mead, now with Gordon Elliott, and Gilligan takes off a handy 5, I think. I'll be interested in him, but he's a personal project. He'll stay all day, no problems. Tom?
Well, Royal Thief was really impressive. Patrick Mullins gave him a brilliant ride one day on his debut after a long absence. I think he had 600 days off the track, and he went right round the outside. I think it was at Gowran, I can't remember. But he won a handicap in really good style when he was trained by Henry. He's moved to Gordon Elliott. He's obviously Jack Kennedy's choice, so that's why he's the favourite. I quite fancy the one right down the bottom, Call the Tune for Barry Connell. I think he'll no weight, won't mind the ground, fitness, fit.
Yeah, his horse has been going well since they come out. Kills, anything catch your
eye? Walk Away if he's okay. Like, you know what I mean? He's a horse that's had a million problems. He's got form with like Champ over hurdles as a novice at Aintree. He's been second to Foheen over fetches. He won 9 times in his life, and he's 10. But he did run really well after a break of 2 years the other day, and I thought he might go well if he doesn't bounce, or he wakes up and he's lame again.
All right, there you go. A Sunday sizzler for you. Could we see something emerging as a candidate for Aintree after the 3:15 at Cork? Right, let's move on to the business section of the race. It is nap time, and all of these are going to Oh, we're doing anti-post. They're going in my ear. Yes, of course. Betfair Chase we've got to talk about, haven't we? I'm wishing them. I know you've got to get a Reading this afternoon.
Amateur, that was.
For another drubbing at Reading. I know you've got to get there. But all right, yeah, and anti-post. Look, future races, if you go to the William Hill website, if you're doing that on your app there now, go to the future races. We've picked out the Betfair Gold Cup. This is about chess pieces, guys, isn't it? But Johnny, just give us a quick rundown of the market. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got a short one here.
We have Protector at Keels' nap a couple of days in the big jump off. I think he put it 3-1. We're even money now. This is a case of who's actually going to turn up. We've seen a little bit of money for Royal Pagaille in the last couple of days, but at the moment, even money Protector at.
Oh, we're laughing here in this year because apparently I called it the Betfair Gold Cup. There you go.
And you were called a clown by the producer. That was quite funny.
That's a future race still to come. I don't know. They're all so difficult. We know it as the November showpiece on a massive weekend won by the greats. Jerry Colon, all being well, will go to Down Royal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the problem. Look at that market. Protector at evens. Brave Man's Game non-runner. Jerry Colon non-runner. Shishkin, no way. Henderson is going to run him on bottomless ground. Hoysenor, he runs today, so he can't be certain. Long Press, we haven't seen forever. I mean, he might well run. Korak Rambler tailed off last time. What beats him?
What price did you put him up at in the big jump off and all that sort of stuff?
He was only threes or something, but he was never going to
say only threes, he's evens now.
He was never going to be threes, was he? That was the whole point.
Cat that got the cream in Paul Kealy.
I was interested to hear Johnny say that Royal Pagaille had a bit of money floating around for him, because I thought Long Press would be going here, but if there's money floating around for Royal Pagaille.
Joe tells me Royal Pagaille's going to the
Cold Gold Cup.
Cold Gold Cup, yeah.
Because I thought this was the perfect race for Long Press. Going left-handed.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to go?
Can't wait to see him back. So Paul's well, do you know?
Proper horse. I mean,
he's a very, very good horse. I mean, I actually, I actually have a very good bet on him against Brave Man's Game in the King George last year. And, obviously let us down there, but
he wasn't out to the left.
He was short nap at a festival.
He was only going to get beat about 3, wasn't he? Yeah. He wasn't going to get beat far.
No, he wasn't going to get beat after the. I think he has the potential to be the best chaser in Britain.
Let's just give me another one that cuts up, then, obviously.
Well, it is. It's definitely. It's not. There's no if about it. It's definitely going to get it cut up. It's just who turns up. If Long Press turned up on his A game, I think he could beat Protector out. I think he's a better horse than Protector out. But I just, come on, surely he is.
No, I'm just saying. I was going to say an early steer from Price. I think he's a better horse than Protector.
I wouldn't argue that, but whether he's going to be really G'd up for this chase.
Big race, though, isn't it? It's a big race that Betfair Chase.
It wasn't bad first time out last year.
It's very rarely treated like a big race.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
That's the problem with Grade 1s. That we've got too many of them. Very few of them are actually treated like big races.
That's the 25th of November then, and it will rage on, and it is the Betfair Chase, of course. Protector at Eves, you were told a little while ago by Kills to get on. How many of you did that? Let us know. All right, that's the anti-post. Look, future races on the William Hill website. You can get there. Now it's the business end of the race. Don't worry, Reading awaits, Tom.
This means breakfast time is just around the corner, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I know, absolutely. All right, OK, Naps, who's going to kick off the floor? Let's go for Johnny Simpson. Take it away, Johnny.
The nap today with all this great racing on, I'm going to Santa Anita, warm heart in the filly mare turf from stall 2. Ryan Moore can get out on terms, get a good position. I think she's been a really underrated filly this year and not getting the credit she deserves. She'll be the nap for me.
And you're boosting that out to 3-1, right, from 5-2?
All the naps will be boosted on the Morning Post specials on the William Hill site, along with the 2 boosts, Brave Man's Game and Inspiral. But all the panels boosts will be on there as well.
All right.
A lot of faith in us, haven't they?
We were
boost those ones.
Not from 4 last week. Yeah, absolutely.
Give us your best. We'll have a laugh and then we'll put them up on the watch.
All right, warm up for Johnny. I think she's got a cracking chance as well. Despite DJ and Tom being strong on Time Hill, I think this is Dash all day. 11-4 out there, Johnny. Is that what we're going?
Yeah, 11-4. Dave Dashel Drasher.
Keels.
Well, I think the one horse with the potential to smash a race apart today is Alta Belly in the 3:15.
11-2 from 9-2. Then you saw that 4-1. Take that 11-2. Tom, you're going to Newmarket.
Yeah, there was a horse I really, really liked at Yarmouth the other day, Telemark. Maybe remembers the film, The Heroes of Telemark. Yep. Place in Norway. Yeah, a big fan of Simon Christopher. I think he won the Horace Hill last year night, and I think this has been the plan. Same owners.
This has been rescheduled, of course, hasn't it? Yeah.
I think he'll love the soft ground. So telemark for me at Newmarket.
You're really giving us an insight into your brain here, Tom, how you pick your winners. Oh, that's a great film. It's going to win. A lot of people will be agreeing with that. All right, there, the naps then for you out there. Johnny Simpson, a reminder, he goes to the Breeders' Cup. That's not on the side panel. That's all the way out to 3-1 for 5-2. I'm Dash or Trasher. 11-4 you can get. Out to Belly, out to 11-2, and Telemark 7-2 for you as well. They're the naps. What are your big hopes of the weekend? Get your comments below. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, and share. This has been the second edition of the Morning Post on a wet Saturday. Johnny Simpson, enjoy it. Good luck tonight, man.
Cheers, Dave. Best of luck today.
Happy days. He was waiting for his cue there when he delivered it perfectly. Okay, love Johnny Simpson. Kills, thanks very much.
Yep, thoroughly enjoyed it. 2 eggs, bacon, sausage, chips and beans, please.
On me this week, isn't it? Of course. All right, okay. Tom, thank you for coming here. Post Reading.
Pleasure, yeah.
Reading, I should say.
Lose again.
Who you got today?
Milton Keynes Dons in the first round. Oh, so sad. We're in the first round of the FA Cup. I haven't been in the first round of the FA Cup in about 25 years.
Blimey, mate, a sinking ship. Oh, we wish you well with that. All right, thank you for joining us. Well done, Sam and Dave in the studio. This has been the Morning Post here at the Racing Post and sponsored by William Hill. Enjoy the sport.